I'll leave it at that, and then we can have some
So, did anyone have any questions for either Sven or Mable?
Yeah, I really admire your approaching various ethnic communities.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned about young people. How do we get young people to be politically involved and to vote?
That's a good question, and that's also a priority, and that's why we have a lot of young people here, very involved and engaged, and that's also, for example, in my nomination campaign, I have a youth committee. We've got an event. We have one of our co-chairs here, Christian Havendano, a great activist, and we've got an event actually tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, yeah.
Right, Christian, where is it?
It'll be 6 to 8 p.m. at the Havana restaurant, which is just on the drive here as well. So it'll be 6 to 8. So feel free to come by, meet Mable, and we can have more discussions about sort of what youth and sort of what issues are really, really affect you all. And if you want to talk to me after as well, I'll be around here and I can give you more details about the event, but it's 6 to 8 at the Havana Club tomorrow night.
And so, yeah, we're bringing together high school students and university and college students, and the thing we said to them was, be creative, right? Talk about what you'd like to do and how we get people involved. So I think it has to start with that. It has to start with getting young folks involved and working with them on issues that they want to work with. So
Realizing
that's kind
that they
of
actually do have a voice.
yeah.
So
So we're running our nomination campaign, how we want to see politics work, and so we've got them involved and need to do more.
terrific.
Jean?
Before I ask my question, could I just point out that when families are signing up, children as young as 12 can become members of the NDP and vote for Mable as The dirty oil that's in the pipeline, how long does it take before that clogs up the inside of the pipeline, or do they just dump more chemicals in there?
So what they do when they have, the bigger problem is actually air bubbles in the pipeline. They get what they call column separation, which is basically an air bubble. The answer to that is to turn up the pressure in the pipe. So one of the problems with moving diluted bitumen through pipes is it's under a lot more pressure to start with, and they have more accidents. The best example of how this can go really wrong that we've seen so far is Enbridge's Kalamazoo spill in Michigan. That spill went on for about 16 hours before they realized it was a problem, because basically all they have to do to monitor what's going on with their pipeline is a bunch of pressure gauges. And so when the pressure drops, they assume it's either an air bubble or a leak. They've been kind of conditioned to assume that it's column separation, and they crank up the pressure. So in that case, they cranked it up, I think, 5 times before they sent a crew out to check on the pipeline. And by that point, they had what's become the most expensive inland oil spill in the history of North America. Over $1 billion was spent cleaning up that mess. And much of the oil is still in the river and surrounding environment.
Question from the gentleman in the back.
Sure. You mentioned the need to invest in renewables, in hydro and tidal geothermal and so on. So, as we know, the BC Liberals in the province are talking about creating an entirely new industry around another non-renewable resource, which nobody mentioned yet, which is fracking for natural gas. Would you support a ban, or at least a moratorium, on exploiting natural gas in BC or in Canada?
Yeah, that's a good question. Liquefied natural gas, it's been actually a long-standing resource in BC, part of BC's economy, resource-dependent province. And I've been up there, I've been up to Fort Nelson and toured the area. And when you come in, I don't know if you've all been in there, so we're coming on the plane, and I was looking down, it was a clear day, and you could see, there was like all these, it was like a checkerboard, like a big, like the whole landscape was this checkerboard of all these like squares. And at first I thought it's agriculture, right? And then couldn't really figure out what it's, as far as the eye can see. And what it is that they have machines that go, and it's prospect, So they prospect the whole area to determine what's underground. So the whole area has been prospected in terms of identifying where the, either the pockets of the problems is that it's regarded as an industrial secret, right? They will not release the contents of the liquid that they put down in terms of to get the fracking under high pressure. So that's one of the problems. We talked as well to the mayors in the area that have a problem around during the summer months. There's drought because it also uses a lot of water. So that's another problem. And one of the biggest problems that we have in British Columbia is that there has not been public hearings, number one. There has not been academic studies. There has not been research conducted to answer these questions. So definitely in favor of undertaking a review and getting answers to those questions around what are the concerns, what's the science, and let's put that on the table to make a decision in terms of this industry.
We had a question just over here first.
Eric.
Yes. You, I believe, were once a bus driver.
Yes, 10 years. But I did the 20 up here. Yeah.
And right in front of here, we've got a very interesting electric transit system, low carbon electric transit system. And so how are you going to be voting in the transit referendum? And how do you see that being connected to getting away from fossil fuels and eliminating the need for things like tar sands extraction?
Thanks, Eric. And Eric Doherty is one of our leading researchers and activists around transportation and renewables. And I think we've been working together since when I was a driver on these issues. But we have an electrified trolley system in Vancouver, which is one of the few in North America, and I think Calgary and San Francisco and Seattle, okay, have it. So it's a great in terms of addressing the lack of carbon emissions coming from our buses. It's a terrific system, and we need to expand that. I'm going to be voting yes, hard yes, in the transit referendum, and I want to put that message out to people also, because it's been really muddied, and we need investment in transit. We need investment, and part of the problem is that we have not had investment from the province in terms of investing in transit to expand our bus system, and also to expand, light rail to Fraser Valley and a number of other areas. But transit is definitely a big piece of looking at, transitioning away from carbon-based economy and getting more people using transit. So I could say a lot more, but does that answer your question, Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you, just
I met with Nathan Cullen when he was here. He's my cousin's nephew, actually, and he's putting together bills, C628, to amend the NEB.
Yes.
I'm just curious. I know that these things sometimes are symbolic, but sometimes they have an effect. I'm curious if there's something that you could do if you were in a position of power to do so politically.
Yep. So definitely, and that's my hope if I'm nominated as the candidate at the nomination meeting, that I'll be working closely with Nathan and with Kennedy Stewart, who has played a leading role in opposition to the expansion, and those legislative reforms, and hopefully the NDP now is positioned more than any other time to overtake the Conservatives in terms of being the leading party. So that also makes this election very exciting. So there's that piece, and that's my hope, actually, to work closely with them and to be in the position that we're in government and have the ability not just to propose amendments and private members' bills, but to pass legislation that'll make real change. Yeah.
Any other questions?
What's your message to colleagues in the provincial and federal NDP who hesitated to take a stance on Kinder Morgan?
Yeah, so I'm an MLA, and running to be the candidate to run for MP. And so this issue is important to me, and that's why I wanted to make it clear what my position is and what my stand is and what my intentions are representing Vancouver East. And so that's, I've conveyed that to them and had some good rapport, and also it's gone out and people know my position. And I think it's important, right? You know, we have this, you know, problem of cynicism, and people are discouraged about politicians and, you know, our government, and you know, lose faith and trust. And so that's why I wanted to make it clear what my position is, where I stand, and what I'm prepared to work on if I'm nominated as candidate.
So that's a pretty good lead-in. Just to we'll maybe just wind it up for the moment, just because I believe the venue, Du Soleil, I think, is closing up fairly soon. But of course, if anyone wants to have conversations, we'll be around after the talk. Last thing, of course, what is happening now is an exercise in democracy. I mean, anyone who lives around here, you have a real chance to have a say in who the NDP candidate will be in this next election. Vancouver East has always been a riding that seems to favor strong, vocal social justice candidates. So that's why I got involved. That's why I'm supporting Mable. So I hope you'll be doing the same. If anyone is interested in voting in the nomination, we're not sure of the exact date, but we can let you know. We have membership forms just over on the table. Please see Mike over there to sign up. And lastly, I'd just like to thank the venue.
Yeah.
All you guys. Let us have this discussion here. One last thing from Louise.
One thing, because Erwin told me on the way out the door, if you want to spread the word about what this forum was about and what Mabel's position is, it'll be on Co-op Radio tomorrow morning at about 7:30 to 8 time slot, so please listen in and get your friends to listen in about what happened today.
Thanks everyone for coming out.
Can I just wrap up?
Sure.
Yeah, I have something to say. But yeah, so that's my pledge, and you know where I stand, and I think it's really important, and that's why my message is, you know, I'm hoping you'll get involved and you'll put that message out, and you'll encourage other people to join and become members and participate in the nomination. It's going to be Canada is actually watching this nomination. It's going to be the biggest one in the country, so there's a lot of interest around it. My position is clear, and if that's what you want, if you want a representative that stands with a strong position, opposed to Kinder Morgan, and prepared to bring communities together, I think that's what we need to do in East Van, and I'm asking also for your support to get involved, to participate in the campaign, and encourage other people to get involved. So thank you very much for joining us here in the great Café du Soleil. Thanks to the family. Thank you, everybody. You were great.